Hello everyone, welcome to Widnes Rugby Chat. It's episode 16. We've got a special guest this week. I'm joined by Bethany Pennington. Thanks for joining us. She's managed to sort... I'm out of my bedroom. It's not my bedroom, it's my office, but she's dragged us to the stadium to record it this week. I just wanted to catch up with Bethany, of course, who was behind the Go Fund Me page. That it's still going, is it?
Yeah, it's still going.
Over 100,000 to save the club last week. Of course, the last episode I think I filmed on just before it was probably a day before the administration, the takeover I should say, came out, so we're still a bit unsure. We were sort of confident it was going to happen, but at that time we were unsure, so it almost feels like a lot's happened since then.
Yeah.
But let's just... I've got you on, Bethany, because I obviously want to find out a bit more about you. I'm going to try and get some other fans on over the coming weeks as well. So just take us back to when you started the page and how it all came about.
So basically I was literally sat at home in my pyjamas just like chilling, and then I got a notification off Twitter with the announcement to say that they were going to go into administration. Turned around to me fella, Paul, and I said, oh, look at that, and then he read it and just went, oh, bloody hell, he went, someone should start a Go Fund Me page, try and raise a bit of money for the club. So I just went, I'll do it. I sat there on my phone, just set it up straight away. My brother, David, he's like the most diehard Widnes fan that I know. Before I'd even got a chance to do my own donation, he was like straight away. So David and Paul did theirs, and then I was like, God, let me do mine, will you, before everyone else starts doing it. So then I just started sharing it on all the Widnes past and present pages, because a lot of them have got like 20,000 people on, and I thought, what better way of getting it out there on Facebook, social media, whatever. So I did that, and then by the time I'd gone to bed at like midnight, something like that, I would raise like £1,500, and I was like, oh, isn't this really good? That's really good in such a short space of time. And then the next morning it was over like £2,000, and then I was like, oh God, I wonder how quickly this is going to kind of take off. So like the next morning, like I just shared it again with like a bit of an update of where we were at and how much we'd raised overnight and stuff. And then the next thing, the Vikings got in touch with me and were like, what's your plan? And I was like, I don't have one. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Were you worried you were going to have to take over the club at one point?
Oh yeah, totally. Apparently I should be on the board of directors according to some fans, and I was like, okay then. Yeah. Extreme.
Is the fundraising something you've done before, or is it just
like little bits? Like I used to do like fundraising when I worked at my old job, like raising money for Alder Hay Hospital, things like that. I do like fundraising for my daughter's rugby team, and I help them kind of get some money behind them for presentation night, trophies and kit, and training kit and stuff like that. But it is something that I do enjoy doing. I do enjoy helping other people, and I've always been like that. And sometimes it's a bit of a nightmare because Paul's like, stop thinking of everyone else and think of yourself, and I'm like, well, I can't, because I like to do it. Yeah. So.
And what was your initial target? Was your initial target 10 grand?
10 grand, yeah. And I thought that was asking a lot. So I was a bit like, oh, should I just put 10 grand? I don't really want to take the mick, really, putting like 50 or whatever. Yeah. Not thinking I'd get anywhere near it. So.
And what happens when you hit the level? Does Go Fund Me let you put it up?
Yeah. Well, so I knew that we were going to hit the 10 grand after obviously the page went live on the Vicky website. We'd raised like another 5 grand in like an hour, and I was like, oh God, I want to hit this 10 grand. Then I wasn't sure then if you could carry on putting money in after hitting the target. So Jason from Vicky said, oh, we'll put it up and put it up to 100 grand. And I was like, well, yeah, that's asking a bit much, thinking it's never going to get that. How wrong was I?
Yeah. So I guess there's a little bit of a process now that you have to do with Go Fund Me in some ways.
Yeah, I've got to kind of like set up like to withdraw it, but obviously I don't want to withdraw it to my bank account. I want to withdraw it to Vicky, because obviously that's the ring-fenced account that everyone kept asking me about, like where's it going to go and stuff. And I was like, well, Vicky's ring-fenced, it's secure. The money can't like get swallowed up in any debt or black hole or anything. And then eventually when the club get back on track, the money's there for them then to buy players or whatever that they need to do. So,
well, it'd be nice to withdraw it to your account, sure. Just do a little bank statement. You could go to the cash bar and get your little the receipt and just have it framed.
Just have the interest for like a week or something. It'd be sound, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, that's it. So it's still growing, isn't it?
It's still growing.
It's obviously slowed down.
It's slowed down a lot since obviously the announcement come out that they've been took over on Friday. I think Thursday, but then officially on the Friday. And it's slowed down a lot since then. But there's still loads of people that did fundraising on the Friday, and I don't know if that money's coming to the Go Fund Me or if they brought it straight to the stadium. I'm not sure. I've got money from the bucket collection I did on Saturday that I've still not put on the account yet.
Yeah.
So there's still kind of money floating around that people haven't given us yet.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, I should mention at this point, I put up sponsorship of Widnes Rugby Chat to raise funds.
Oh yes,
and we've got PD Law, we've got Musical All Sorts, I've got to remember these off the top of my head. We've got PD Law, Musical All Sorts, Deals Jewellers, and Arnold Gorse Financial Management. Their logos and stuff will be going across the screen at some point, I'm sure we'll sort that out. But they all contributed, and obviously that all went towards the Go Fund Me amount. So yeah, so I mean everyone was getting involved. Last week it was unbelievable. A bit of fan power, and it shows a few things. The power of social media, I guess, because you've started it from, you know, in many ways it's like people spend a fortune on marketing stuff, and you've just done something there and like
just shared it on a couple of pages, and it was like, oh yeah.
So, but important. I mean, how long have you been? Obviously, you're from Widnes. How long have you been watching Widnes?
Well, honestly, I started watching them when it was Norton Park, sorry, because I lived across the road in Milton Ave for like 25 years, so the atmosphere on a match day was always dead good, because it was always people that I lived around, they'd all come the matches together, we'd go into the cow sheds and like we'd sit on the wall and, you know, you'd run on the pitch afterwards high-fiving all the players and, you know, patting them on the back and stuff, and it was brilliant. I used to like love it from such a small age. Like growing up, I used to go with my brother Stuart and my brother David and my sister Kim. I wasn't allowed to go to the away matches very much with them because they're all like a lot older than me.
Right.
So I had to wait till I was a bit older to go to the away matches with them on the coach. But I used to love watching them, and like lately, my daughter, well not lately, like my daughter's been playing rugby for the last 3 years, so that's kind of like got me a lot more into it now, because obviously life goes on, doesn't it, afterwards, and it's like you forget about doing stuff for yourself and you do stuff for everybody else. Like Amy's like 9, but when she started getting into rugby when she was 6, it kind of got me back into it, and then working here for the last 2 years as well has got me like the love that I used to have for rugby is kind of like rekindled with being around it all the time. My boyfriend's just an absolute rugby mad, you know what I mean? He loves Widnes, he works here, he's worked there like 20 odd years. He goes to as many matches as he can. He's going Barrow on Sunday. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just kind of like the love from it's just come back. So you're
not one of them people, I always get this when I'm walking back to my car and people ask me what the score was, and I always think, well, why don't you just go to the game?
Yeah.
I always think that when I walk back to my car. So you mentioned about being on the pitch high-fiving players. You were on the pitch on Sunday.
I know.
Bit different to pitch now, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, for those, I mean, most of the people would have been there, but for those who weren't, Bethany and a lot of the staff at the club who'd helped keep the club alive went onto the pitch before the game and were sort of presented, I guess, to the fans and got a round of applause. How did that come about?
Oh God, well, to be honest, Amy was mascot, my little girl, and I was just down in the tunnel waiting for her to go on, and then Phil Finney goes to me, "Come on Beth, you're coming out with us," and I was like, "Coming out where? What are you on about?" Didn't have a clue, and he went, "Onto the pitch," and I just thought, no idea what he's talking about here. And then the next minute they all went, "Right, come on," and they were all like, "Come on Beth." So I was like walking on the pitch then, and then I could hear Roy saying, like, you know, that these are the ones that have kept the club going for the past week, and I was just like a bit shocked. I wasn't expecting it at all. And then like when we got onto the pitch and everyone was like clapping and me and Amy were just like waving in our own little world, and then Roy grabbed me and he was like, "Can I just point out this individual?" And I was just like, oh my God, and I felt so embarrassed. But then when I looked up and the whole of the North Stand was stood up cheering and clapping, and I was just like, oh my God, I was like, I can't believe like everyone appreciates that much. Yeah. And I was just like waving, like, yay!
Well, it's a nice picture for your mantelpiece, I suppose, to signify, you know, obviously the work and obviously this period, I suppose, of work that you've done.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we'll talk about the game and the situation around the game. I mean, it was an unbelievable sort of atmosphere, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was unreal. I've never seen the stands like that as much as it was. It was like nearly 6,000 people there. The North Stand was absolutely bouncing. There was just flags flying everywhere. It was just unreal, the atmosphere. Everything was just happy. Like even when like Featherstone started scoring, people were they still knew that Widnes, they weren't going to kind of drop back. They were still going and going and going for it, and it was just brilliant.
I suppose I suppose the game itself went in a way that suited the occasion really, because obviously you score straight away, and then it was 22-0 after about 15 minutes.
I couldn't believe they scored straight away.
Yeah.
It took me from getting from the tunnel up here and they'd scored, and I was like, oh my
because
God.
Featherstone dropped the kick. Featherstone sort of fumbled the kick off, knocked on in the first tackle, and then Widnes scored.
See, I missed all that because I was coming back up here.
That's the thing. That's the thing when you're celebrities. You see your hospitality and all that. You miss all that action. But I think another thing is I've seen some pictures on Twitter, and you've probably seen them of like the crowd from games from last season.
Yeah, like the 6 months between.
The northwest corner, and there was no one there, and it was like unbelievable, wasn't it?
It was mad
on Sunday. So it's good to get. It's good to get that feeling back, and obviously helps to have the win, of course. 44-22 over Featherstone, which I'm sure you all know. I'm sure you've all seen the highlights on Sky. I'm still not convinced Gellin got that try down, but I know they did like a slow-mo. They did like I seen the video from the far angle, and I thought, I'm not sure he got that down.
Yeah.
And then they've done a slow-mo as if to prove that he got it down, and I don't think you can tell on the slow-mo either. So that was an interesting one. I thought one of their tries was a little iffy, where he sort of used the marker as a shepherd to get over. But I mean, like I say, it didn't really matter a great deal. So you go over home games, and then the odd away game, or...
Well, no, see, that's the thing, that, like, because I work here, I work every single match
You don't want to be... Oh, right, okay.
So I get to watch the first half, because, you know, I work on the bar downstairs, and then I'll sit in the stand for the first half, and then I have to go back to the bar then for half time, and then clear up, and then I don't really get a chance to go back out.
So I suppose in the Dennis Betts area, you thought we must have been winning every week, because we used to be alright till half time.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, that sound that, and then
that was probably the best thing you could have done, actually. You were watching games, we were winning at half time, and you could have just gone home, or just not known what the final score was.
I know, but no, I wish I could watch every game, but you know, you got to work as well, don't you? I mean, it's a perk getting to watch at least the first half of you. But I'd love to be able to watch more. Definitely.
Well, obviously, hopefully now more and more people come back and support the team, and especially with the way the takeover and the ownership has gone, is obviously it's local people, and hopefully we'll find out a bit more about those people in the coming weeks. Barrow away, so you mentioned your boyfriend's going. Does he go on the coach? What is it?
Oh
Is he one of the,
he goes on the coach with all his mates, with his couple of beers on the coach.
So he's one of them troublemakers?
Oh, no. He's not one of them that runs on the pitch when they're not allowed to.
That's good. No, it's Barrow Sunday away. Tough game. Pitch is always a dog up there.
Yeah, I've heard it's a bit of a messy one.
The weather, I believe, is going to be pretty bad as well. Someone said to me, and I've not been able to verify this yet, someone said to me they've taken the roof off the away end.
Oh, I don't know.
Which someone said to me earlier this week, so I need to verify that piece of information.
They're getting a bit wet then, aren't they?
But yeah, I suppose we've had 2 new signings today.
Lewis Johnson
from Warrington and Dom Speakman from Dewsbury. I think Speakman probably would have signed earlier if all this.
Yeah, I think he had to wait till everything had kind
of
gone.
I mean, I commentated on a few Dewsbury games last season, so I've seen him there, and I think he's quite lively around dummy half and stuff. So adds a little bit of spark there. Jordan Johnston's a player that I like JJ, and he's got to now step up and fill the boots of Liam Wood, who's
just
left.
gone, hasn't he?
So that was I suppose that's a little bit of sad news,
a
little bit. And of course we had Chris Ninu and Wellington Albert, who I think's going to Toronto. And,
really?
And Adam Tangata, who all left. Was there any discussion with you about the money at all?
No.
So it's just being it's not being a case of they've said, can we release some of the money for anything? It's just a case of it's all still there in a pot. And
it's also, no one said anything to me about obviously releasing any of the money to keep Tangata or Inu or Wellington. Nothing was said about anything. I think maybe, I don't know, they just had to maybe make cuts somewhere, didn't they? I mean...
No, definitely, and I think,
Because they've lost 3 good players, but they've gained 2 in a way, but even if one's only on a month contract.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, being cynical, Tangata's injured for 3 or 4 months anyway, Inu was injured, Wellington Albert was injured. I think he's close to fitness, but he's not really. Some people like him, some people don't. He didn't get much of a chance. He's not played this season, so it's like even without playing without them anyway.
Yeah, so...
Obviously, Liam Hood's a bit of a blow because he's gone to Lee, which is a bit of a shame. But
he's gone to Lee?
He's gone to Lee, yeah. So.
Oh, I see. It said that he'd gone to full-time.
Yeah, so I think what's happened is...
But it doesn't really say what he's...
I think, well, someone's tweeted me before, on my way here, actually, saying he's got a job working for Derek Beaumont. So that's probably what it is. Because he's obviously got a full-time job, but because Lee are part-time, he can train with them in the evenings. So there's a little bit of... It's a bit of an iffy one, that one, but... A bit of a shame because Hood's obviously a really good player. I was going to say -12, and I said this on Sunday. So Widnes got the 12-point deduction, but they're back to -6 already. Yeah. I said this before they got rid of Liam Hood, so I'm not sure whether my opinion might change. But I still believe Widnes have got a chance of making the top 5.
Yeah,
even
totally.
With
I mean, they've won 2, which means obviously we only started on -8. They've won again, so we're on -6. So technically they've only got to win another 3 games to get back to
more
0.
Than the others, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then I can't remember who's bottom of the table, but I remember that whoever it was had lost all the games and they were still on 0. So I was like, oh well, if they stay on 0, then we might be able to go above them.
So I think I looked at it, and like last season, Toronto, after 23 games, they were 9 points clear of 6th place.
Yeah.
And that was after 23 games. So if you stretch that to 27, potentially you get a bit more. I guess the key, what you've got to look at is defeat. So effectively, Widnes have lost 7 games, is the way I'd look at it, because of the way they've lost. So what you've got to look at, assuming Widnes obviously have to win the majority of their games, that goes without saying, but as long as there's going to be more than or less than 4 teams that lose perhaps less than 10, Widnes got a chance of getting in there.
The odds aren't great.
The odds aren't great.
The odds aren't great. If you look at it that way.
But my point is that there's a chance. I still think there's a chance.
I have every faith that Widnes are going to do good this season. I really, really do.
And in some ways, it's not necessarily about that. It's about... I mean, obviously, everyone wants to watch the team win, and of course, that's important. But I think what's most important is that the fans come back like they did last week, that we've actually got a club, because obviously that was at risk last year. The academy carries on going. I think, Sunday there was 11 of the 17 had come through the academy. That's probably more important. I've seen a few people say, oh, well, we need a plan to get back into Super League, but it's a bit like, well, actually, let's just have a bit of stability and enjoy it a little bit. The now
instead of the future, really. I mean, if we get back into Super League, then that's fantastic, but as long as we can kind of stay up there in the Championship now, then Super League can be like maybe next season's goal, really, because technically they probably wouldn't get back into Super League after this season. Depends.
Well, I mean, obviously you've got the Toronto thing, haven't you? Really, you've got the Toronto factor. Ultimately for Widnes, whatever happens, Widnes would have to beat Toronto. In one. Well, I suppose you could look at that both ways. They have to beat Toronto to go up potentially, or but then at the same time you could say, well, actually, they only have to beat them once. In theory, they could finish 5th in the straight 5th, and then get through to the final and beat Toronto once, and which is what London Broncos did. Did last year. So, really, really interesting one. So, what is the plan moving forward with the Go Fund Me? Is it going to keep going, do you think, or?
Well, technically, we're trying to work the kinks out of how to withdraw the fund now, because there's a lot of paperwork with Go Fund that you've got to go through. You can't just go, oh right, I'm going to withdraw all that money to my account now, and then I'll give it to Vicky. It's not like that at all. There's a whole hoo-ha of emails back and to, and obviously with the company being in America, when I'm emailing them back, they're not emailing me back till the next day, and it's a big mess at the minute trying to get it all sorted. But at the minute, the GoFundMe page is still open. So we are still getting donations, not as much as we was, but obviously can't complain at the 105,000 that we've already got. But as soon as we get this, them sorted with when we can take the money out, hopefully sooner rather than later, we can obviously put it in the Vicky account, and then they can use it then
for whatever they need it
to go.
Because I suppose obviously it's a significant amount of money, and I would presume that, and like I say, because we haven't spoken to anyone at the club yet, we don't know, but I would presume that money is needed fairly soon.
Quickly,
Because that was the whole point of it, basically.
It was just to keep the club going, but not let it get sucked into the debt. Because obviously we didn't want that. We wanted the fans to give the money to save the club, not to give the money to pay off whatever they needed to pay off.
So I'm going to run some ideas past you here, because you could be my fundraising events manager or something like that. So if you watched last week, my suggestion was every year, like the Monday night at the stadium was great. You know, I was there. I don't know if you went out on the fundraising thing.
I was working behind the bar.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember because they called you out. Yeah, I never got a drink all night because I thought I came in and the queue was that long. I thought, nah, I'm not going for it. So I just got to the front.
Stop all night.
I got to the front and literally, I was sat on the floor for the first half. Terry O'Connor managed to get a water though.
Did he?
Yeah, so I don't know how he swindled. Yeah, because I ended up anyway. So my idea was that every year, because I think during that fundraising part, I was a little bit not worried, but there was so much stuff being auctioned off that obviously some of it wasn't getting its true value, because obviously, you know, one person might have been interested in 10 things but only have the money at that time to pay for one or two. So my idea was, and I mentioned this last week, an annual Love Our Club event. Right? Late-ish February to coincide with the one last week.
Yeah.
Not close enough to Valentine's Day so it affects your Valentine's Day stuff, but still in February so you can use the love thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my idea. So no one's really jumped on it from last week, so I'm trying to build a momentum. I had a couple of tweets from people saying, yeah, good idea. I'd go, you know, every year we could have a night in the whatever suites they're called downstairs.
The Corellius,
whatever. Every year as a way of fundraising.
Yeah, to be fair, it's a really good idea.
Yeah, I have my moments,
I love the fundraising.
You could be the face.
I would totally get on board with that.
You could be the face of the Love Our Club events every year. And even if you know, I think what did they raise? About 18,000, something like that.
17,000.
Even if you could raise 10, 15 grand every year from an event like that.
Yeah.
And you know, and Rolty said one of the things Rolty said at the thing was he thought that the club had lost this sort of thing in terms of having all those people in the room wanting to be at an event, and it's like, and you know, I must admit, I sat there thinking, I literally can't remember the last time I was here.
Well, it was that busy. They had to stop people coming in. The people were queuing downstairs, and it turned into like 1 in, 1 out. I've never seen that many people there.
And I think it'd be amazing if we could have some sort of fans thing like that every year. Yeah. So that's one idea. My second idea that I actually went into the stadium with on the Sunday as a little bit, because obviously we were all pulling at straws a little bit, grasping at straws and trying to think of ideas. And because originally we were going to film this at your house. Yeah. It was going to tie into that slightly, because my idea is that when people donate to the fund, we get Anthony Gelling to go to the front room and have a picture in their lounge. #Gells in the house. Yeah,
Gells in the house.
Because, you know, he loves it, Gelling, doesn't he? So it's like, you know, that was one of the other things. If someone donates, that's a good way to get Anthony Gelling to come down on his day off or whatever, sit in your front room having a brew, nice picture, put up on the wall. You're not so keen on that
I don't know. I just don't like your tagline. Gells in the house.
Yeah, but that's the sort of thing he'd come up with, you see.
No, I know. He's quite funny, to be fair. Like,
I want to take him to my dad works at the Grannox, so I want to take Anthony Gelling down to the Grannox to do a Widnes Rugby Chat. That is my aim at some point, because obviously he did the one in front of
Fiddler's Ferry, and he didn't like the smell of it down there.
It's not as bad as it used to be fair. It's not as bad as it used to be. So, but yeah, that'd be. I'm dead keen to try and do that, and you know, I know Sam White watches these.
Get it sorted, Sam.
Yeah, get it sorted, Sam. So that's another thing, but I think. The good thing is you know, obviously you know a lot of people in Widnes, and I know a lot of people in Widnes, and the main thing is that everyone sort of made the point that Widnes wants a rugby team and wants to support a rugby team. That's the main thing that's come out of all this.
Well, it is. If you say to anyone, oh yeah, I'm from Widnes, the first thing they say to you is, oh yeah, Widnes Rugby, Widnes Vikings. That's what the town's known for.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not known for the Grannox or the Crispy.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Rugby puts Widnes on the map.
It did 100%. Widnes definitely did.
And obviously, I don't want to put you under pressure here, because you work for the council, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's obviously been, with the previous ownership, a little bit of friction, and for whatever reason. My big thing with the council, and maybe we could fundraise for this.
Okay.
There's signs when you come into town, or like, you know, like when you're coming in from Warrington or St Helens, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you go to Warrington and it says home of the Warrington Wolves.
Yeah, and there's one on the way to St Helens as well.
But they don't have one for Widnes. Now, I know it sort of says, I know it's a Halton thing, and obviously you've got to be careful because you don't want to hack off people from Runcorn and stuff like that. But there's one when you drive past Fiddler's Ferry, that's the one I go past probably the most. And I always think, surely, as your Halton Borough Council, your main asset, your big, or rather the main thing that makes you famous is rugby. So why not have home of
Yeah.
Widnes Vikings, and you could even have World Champions '89 or something.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
That's your next fundraising idea. So once we've got some, once the club's stable, and we're happy with all the signings that we've made, that's the next one.
Totally.
But yeah,
get on it.
So yeah, Bethany, thanks very much for joining me.
Welcome.
Hope you've enjoyed this one. A bit of glamour this week, not just me and Drew and some of the others that we always get on. Thanks to PD Law, Musical All Sorts, Arnold, Gorse Financial, and Deals Jewellers. See you at Barrow on Sunday. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all the bits on YouTube, Audio Boom, Spotify, all that, and I'll see you next week.